Okay, friends, let's go ahead and begin by reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So is anybody out there over Zoom hearing a feedback in their speaker? No? The sound is clear?
Sound is good, Bhante.
So I'm going to be sharing the screen again with the transcript from the talk that I'm going to be going over one. So somebody else on chat is saying has echoes. So some people may hear it, some people may not. So why does this always happen? I'm not getting the screen share yet.
Screen share?
Yeah, I click it, but it's not.
The tab? You have the document open?
Yeah, it's open. It happens every time. I don't know.
Yeah, there should be maybe two tabs. Did you share your screen already?
Yeah.
Oh, here, right at the top here, the tab. All right, there you go, click that.
Okay. Okay, friends. I hope that you were able to read this transcript from a Dhamma talk I gave at the Pittsburgh Buddhist Center, but I'm going to go over it. So the topic of this Dhamma talk, that retreat, is a topic that was one of my favorite topics because I feel it's the most important topic in terms of developing our meditation practice, and that of becoming centered in the body, or mindfulness of the body, and the importance in that. So, the body is the home for this mind. The mind operates through the subtle nervous system of the body, and because of that, the body has its own natural wisdom. When you were in the womb for 9 months, the baby was developing. There was no IBM computer hooked up, no IA hooked up to it saying develop the brain, develop the kidneys, develop the liver. do this, do that, interconnect all these systems. No, it was natural wisdom. All of these intricate systems of the body are one of the most highly developed organisms that we know of as of yet. And the body knows how to heal itself with the immune system and so on. It has these other early warning systems going on. So there's a lot of intelligence within the body, natural intelligence. But when we were born, we lost that connection to the body. We lost that sensitivity. The mind lost its sensitivity because now its energy is going outward and is not intimately connected to the subtler vibrations in the body. It gets overridden by our thoughts of the past and the future, greed and hatred and delusions. And that being centered in the body is being centered in the present moment. And the mind was basically in the present moment for those 9 months in the womb. It didn't have any input from the external world. It was just feeling all those millions of cells developing and creating this body in the space of 9 months. But again, when we came out, we lost that intimate connection. So when we lose that happiness of the present moment, that contentment of the mind, being connected to those organic vibrations of the body, then the mind has to replace that natural contentment with substituted happiness. If the mind is no longer feeding off the artesian well of intrinsic life force, which is also awareness, which is in the electrons, protons, neutrons, and the atom, that's really where the life force is, because it's the number of electrons going around an atom that creates matter, right? Any chemists or biologists out there? This is not theoretical, this is science. So when you lose that connection to the body, the disconnected mind interferes with the natural healing. As an example, when you were a teenager, you want to be like a tough guy and hang out with the older guys. Now, I'm saying this from my own personal experience. Maybe the older guys egged you on and said, come on, take a drag on a cigarette, start smoking, be part of the in crowd. So innocently, you take your first puff on a cigarette. Your friends say, come on, wimp, take another one. So you tough it out, even though you may not have liked it. And then you get hooked on smoking. Maybe after some months, you start coughing. The body is trying to tell you something. That's not good for you. So that's natural wisdom, but our mind doesn't listen with anything else, whether it's junk food, alcohol, drugs, any type of addiction that causes some kind of harm for the body or the mind. The mind causes most of the problems for our body. Look at all the accidents, almost every single accident you've ever had. You can remember this when you go home tonight. I wasn't looking, I tripped over something. Okay, so the mind wasn't in the present moment. You were walking along the street, caught up in thoughts. The mind is already in the future where you want to go, and you step in a pothole and twist your ankle, or step in a pile of dog doo-doo. You swear and blame the person with the dog. Oh, you should have cleaned up. No, you should have been mindful. You could have avoided stepping in it. So this is how our mind always tried to defend our unmindfulness. So this comes back to the Four Noble Truths. We talk about the Dhamma being the laws of nature, but specifically in the Buddhist teaching, all the Dhamma fits into the Four Noble Truths. The Buddha wasn't interested in who created the world, how it was created, how long it took to create, and so on, like some other religions might think is important. That wasn't important to the Buddha. The Buddha was interested in how people create suffering for themselves, and not only for themselves, but for the others too in the whole world. The Four Noble Truths, the truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. This is like a doctor's hypothesis. The Buddha was a great doctor. This is how doctors treat their patients. You go to the doctor and the doc says, what are your symptoms? Oh, I got a pain here, I got a pain over there, this, and that. I got a lump over here. So the doctor checks that out and determines what the cause of suffering is. Oh, you need to drink more water. You need to take more vitamin D or whatever. He sees the symptoms. You need to cut out this and that. Lower your blood pressure. Then he determines what's the cause of that. And then they prescribe a medicine to overcome the cause. So, doctors are good at prescribing medicines, right? But they're usually treating the external symptoms or even internal symptoms, but not the mental symptoms. And they want to just neutralize the cause. So when the symptom goes away, oh, the person's well now. So the medicine is the Dhamma. In the sense, the Buddha prescribed the medicine of Dhamma to overcome the disease or treat the disease of ignorance. Ignorance, greed, and hatred, which is the cause of all of the sufferings in the world. So there are 3 levels of suffering. The first is the obvious physical level of suffering that's connected with these bodies. Such as sickness, old age, decay, broken bones, lots of pains, and of course, eventually death. People suffer physically and then they suffer mentally. They suffer 2 ways. The mental suffering is coming from the physical suffering. Having lost somebody, oh, so-and-so died, and they were weeping and wailing because they couldn't let go of it. They couldn't accept the reality that everything dies. Or so many other reasons. This is connected to impermanence because everything that arises is subject to cessation at the slightest notice. We cannot control it, and everything changes. This is one of the other laws of nature, along with the law of karma that we talked about. The law of impermanence, that everything is changing, goes down to the cellular, molecular, and atomic level. All those atoms and electrons are constantly changing. Physics is doing a lot of research and tests with machines, and they're coming up with some really fantastic research and evidence. It shows that matter is just basically changing energies. Electrons are basically just electricity, energy. That's why they call it an electron. The second level of suffering is not getting what you want and getting what you don't want. This is also connected to the material level because everybody wants health, but they get sickness. Everybody wants things to be permanent and to last, but we know everything changes. Even your relationships with people change over life. People go through so many changes with relationships, cars, houses, pets, everything. You can't name one thing that hasn't changed, except the breathing body. Of course, that also changes, but it hasn't gone away. It doesn't disappear. Even though the body is constantly changing internally and externally, the fact that it's actually here, an inch beneath your nose, this is the only thing that remains a kind of constant, that the breath is going in and out of your body, and the body is 1 inch beneath your nose. Since the time you were born to the time you die, that's the only thing, your constant companion. Like your trustworthy little puppy that's always at your little side. The breath is always there. In the body, how much of you weigh? 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 300 pounds. It's an inch beneath your nose. It's not far away. So anyway, the second level of suffering is the mental level of discontentment. That not getting what you want and getting what you don't want is suffering. And what we don't want is our body to get old, sick, and die. We don't want accidents. We don't want pain, but yet we can't control that. So therefore, we're always in fear and worry and agitation that these things are going to change and go away, or pain is going to come from us. There's worry, fear. Now, with the advent of DNA and people are saying, oh, my parents had this and that disease. Oh, am I going to get that in the future? Oh, and they're worrying, and, and then they want to go in and change the DNA. So, they're in control, control karma, and things like that. Anyway, so everything that's connected with your body and mind, the Buddha said, in short, the 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering. And the 5 aggregates of clinging are not theoretical, it's your life. Sometimes people hear the 5 aggregates. Oh, the 5 aggregates, what are those? They're like a pie in the sky, something like that. No. it's your life, every second moment of your life. Everything that's connected is within the 5 aggregates. The physical body, even the external world. All the feelings going on in your body, the pleasant, painful, and neutral sensations that are constantly whizzing through the perceptions you identify to those objects. The way you perceive them, the thoughts about them, the memories about them, all these things are in a constant state of change and flux. Even your consciousness, the sense of yourself, that's also changing. Now, when you were a young baby, maybe you didn't even have a sense of self until you were 6 months old or something like that. Some of you mothers, how long did it take after you gave your baby a name at birth until the baby finally looked at you? With that first looking, it's getting a sense of self. It's identifying this name that used to be just a word floating through the air somewhere. Johnny, Johnny, Susie, Susie, but they never looked for 6 months. And that keeps on changing as the baby grows older into a young teenager, and then as you grow up through all the stages of life. So those 5 aggregates that we identify as being ourself are constantly changing. And the Buddha called them suffering because largely we cannot control them. The Buddha once said that it's better to regard your body as yourself because your body lasts for 20, 30, 50, 80, even 100 years. There's a continuity, but it's not constant, but it's still there. But he said the mind is changing even faster than the body. We're not able to really see how quickly our mind changes. I mean, we can in deep meditation, but not at the subatomic level, because our consciousness is too dull. The Buddha could do it because he had developed his mind to the very highest degree. So meditation really is like a scientist going into the laboratory and looking through a microscope. This body is the laboratory, the mind is the microscope. You begin focusing attention on the breathing. Then you focus on your hands touching together and other touch sensations. If you keep it there long enough, you start to notice more and more vibrations and sensations. That's like turning up the power of a microscope. Concentration is basically like turning up the power of a microscope. The longer you keep your mind focused without getting distracted or going to sleep or getting carried away in thoughts, that's the way you develop the deeper level of concentration and clear seeing. You no longer see the outside surface of an object, you see within it. That's how you develop the deeper wisdom and understanding how quickly the mind operates, how it's interconnected with everything. You can also see how that law of karma is operating between sensations and our thoughts and our reactions. Normally our mind is too dull and too slow and half asleep most of the time. So we're not able to see those changes. The cause of suffering is usually called greed, hatred, and delusion. Delusion is basically ignorance, ignoring the truth. That's what ignorance is. It's ignoring the truth, ignoring the truth of the natural laws. Ignorance is the ultimate cause of suffering because greed and hatred arises because of ignorance. Ignorance means not understanding the truth, the nature of our mind. I like to say ignorance started with the disconnection from the body. That's really the descent into suffering when the baby lost that connection to the body and started focusing in the external world, and they became gradually disconnected from the body in the present moment. And the mind focusing outwardly, losing that moment-to-moment connection with the subtler vibrations going through the nervous system. So ignorance and delusion is not understanding the mind. Because of that, we think that happiness is outside of ourselves. Because we lost the happiness that's inside of ourselves. We're trying to bring it in from outside. That's ignorance. Greed is the cause of hatred in that progression. The evolution of suffering is because of the ignorance and losing the contact with intrinsic happiness of the present moment awareness. We have to substitute it for bringing in something to smell, something to see, something to hear, something to taste, something to feel, some other person's body, not your own, or think of fantasies. That's how we get our kicks, so to speak. All those things are subject to change and we cannot really control them. And hatred arises when anything that blocks your desire, you get angry. Whenever anything blocks the source of your external happiness, you get angry. That's why hatred comes last, and it's the easiest one to overcome. Greed is much harder. Ignorance is the cause of greed, and greed is the cause of hatred, but they all work in tandem. If greed, hatred, and delusion are the cause of suffering, what would be the end of suffering? This is deductive reasoning here. The cessation of suffering would be the elimination of ignorance, greed, and hatred. How to achieve that? That's the medicine of the Eightfold Path. That's the medicine of the Dhamma. The path leading to the cessation of suffering. The Buddha had a scientific mind. A lot of people think the Buddha was a founder of a great religion. To me, no, he was a scientist, body and mind scientist. And that's the way he presented his Dhamma. After the Buddha attained enlightenment, he was sitting enjoying his enlightenment for several weeks. Finally, he got up to go find his old ascetic buddies and teach them the Dhamma. As he was getting up from his seat, an ascetic, that's a misspelling there, I'm sorry. An ascetic came by. That means a Hindu sadhu, holy man. The Buddha's face was glowing and probably emitting some aura. He looked kind of divine. This ascetic said, "Who are you? Are you a human being? Are you a deva? Are you a god?" And the Buddha said, "No, I'm awake." The ascetic was shocked. He kind of chuckled under his breath and shook his head and thought the Buddha was crazy and walked away. He could have been the Buddha's first disciple. He couldn't handle that. "No, I'm awake." So anyway, friends, I'm going to stop here because this is kind of part one of this talk that I originally gave, and next week we're going to be talking about the Noble Eightfold Path. But I wanted to stop here and especially to see if there's any questions from any of you that have come up, especially with this idea that the body is the home for the mind, and this body is really where we, through which we gain the present moment awareness. It's our connection between, connection to the present moment. So
Wonderful. Well,
this I think nature is more important than nurture. The present life, the combination of nature and nurture. So two persons have two different natures, have different response in the same situation. Anyway, this idea of nature and nurture, yeah, that's a kind of a popular topic these days. So the nature means what you brought with you from the past life, and also the laws of nature that govern the the workings of the body and mind. But it's what we brought with us, the karma, and nurture are the present situations, the way that you're brought up in life, that affect your life in a more direct kind of way. And that's why, as mentioned there, like even with twins, the identical twins, they have maybe, let's say, the same nurture. They're brought up in the same family, or just with kids in a family. They don't have to be twins, but they're brought up by the same parents. They, basically in similar situations, but they turn out differently. One could turn into a criminal. One could turn into the president of a country. One could turn into a monk. And that has something to do with the nature, the karma that they brought with them, that helps to determine those things. So anyway, now let's go back. Okay, I'm going to switch back now. I'm going to turn off this share and go back to the screen, and then take some questions. So there's a golden hand up there from Damon. Damon, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you for the talk. In my experience, I think what I was hearing you in your talk, it kind of implies that, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but names will never harm me. Now, the thing is, in my experience, I find that when someone has harsh speech towards me, particularly if it's somebody that I love, like my wife, uh, it hurts the body, and I can't do anything about that. It hurts down to the cellular bone level. Now, I don't have to react, but but I can tell you that it really hurts like heck. And so I do believe that sticks and stones hurt your bones, and names hurt you too, in my experience, for me. And maybe that's why it varies from person to person.
Because your mind is in your bones too. Your bones have consciousness.
Okay.
And you're not able to detect that right now because your consciousness is limited.
Okay.
But the mind affects down to the cellular and atomic level. You can change your DNA through changing the way you think and act over many years. So our thoughts go down into the body. That's why this idea that the mind and body are separate, no, that's wrong. They're intimately fused together at that very deep cellular molecular level, because that's where the consciousness is. And science is beginning to understand this, quantum mechanics and things like that. There's a lot of research, very fascinating research that's going on. But that's why people have a hard time understanding Dhamma. If they don't meditate, then they can't bridge that connection, especially with Western science. It's so of course, even Western science, the brain is the mind is produced by the brain and so on, but that's
Mhm.
another issue.
So what if I want to lessen my suffering, okay? Because that's why I meditate. I'm here to make my life easier. And so let's say, someone uh curses me out or something. Now, if I want to lessen my suffering, at first, ouch, it hurts on a feeling level, on a rupa, on a body level. I can't help that. That comes up. But if I want to lessen my suffering, you know, okay, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, right? You've often said that. So in this case, when someone calls you, a bad name or something, or says something that really hurts, how can one lessen their suffering in that instance?
That's when you have to reflect on the Dhamma and say, who is suffering? Ask yourself, who is suffering? Is it your hair suffering? Your skin is suffering? Is your memory suffering? What is suffering?
My heart.
What is your heart? That is something, a thought in your mind.
I guess what suffering is that the tension, of listening to those harsh speech and then just actually feeling the gripping, the shortness of breath, the flutter of the heartbeat increasing. All those things are what's hurting. Painful to feel
But
that.
they're just sensations. You have to
Right.
say, okay, this is permanent. These sensations are caused by a certain words that identify that the object. If they insulted your wife, then because you're attached to the wife, you want to protect her, defend her. You're saying, this or that, or anything, or yourself. It's that attachment identification to the body or our mind that is causing these reactions. If there isn't that, those reactions would be very, very muted.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
whole point of Dhamma practice. That's why we have to reflect. That's why the Buddha gave these teachings, not just to stay in a book, to remember them, memorize them. And when something happens, you can reflect on it. This is not me, not mine, not myself. Okay, there is pain, but pain is just sensation. And then who experiences the pain? The I is just a thought created in your mind. Go back to the idea of the baby. The baby created the sense of self because you got a name, and then because of society, of course, we grow up. But no one ever told us not to, that the ego is an illusion. Who told you that? No. Oh, you have to be, you have to grow up and get rich and powerful and defeat others and competition, all these kind of things. They've just in the Western world especially have just magnified this sense of me and the identification to everything. Now the bodies, they want to go powerlifting and get muscles and all these things. So attached. So if somebody insults them, they spent 10, 20 years building up some image, and somebody then insults them, it's like deflating a tire. But that comes from the attachment. And the attachment comes from the delusion, not understanding how process has been created. That's what we have to reflect on. That's what we have to think about. You have to drill it into your mind, not just hearing it once or twice. And you have to back it up through meditation. When you actually experience a few moments when the sense of self dissolves, your whole perspective is going to change.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm interested in meditation and coming into the body and paying attention to the breath, but I feel like there's always a mental chatter. There's always thoughts constantly, like having an internal dialogue within myself. How do I quiet down those thoughts and constant chatter in my head?
By developing mindfulness and concentration, and especially I always say the body is the way to do it. You have to feel more of the body. The body is easier to feel or control than your mind. So that's why before our meditations every Wednesday, I lead you through some yoga exercises. That's not just for my health. That's to try to give you the experience of feeling these sensations. After doing some deep, slow breathing and doing some stretching, you start to feel sensations. Even the clothing touching your body. It's there all the time. We never pay attention. But you can pay attention to it. When you start feeling more sensations of the body, it helps you to just see the thoughts going through the back of your mind and not get carried away into the content of the thought. That's really the key. That's why the Buddha taught mindfulness of the body as being the gateway to getting a hold of your mind. Using the body, breathing in the body as a way to anchor the attention in the body so that you can't think of the body and get lost in your thoughts at the same time. So the more you can feel your body, even just reminding yourself, sitting, breathing, you can't think about yesterday while you're sitting there repeating, sitting, breathing, sitting, breathing, sitting, breathing, sitting, breathing. If you could just say those two words for an hour, you'd be in a jhana with no other intervening thoughts. Of course, that will let go too, but that's the point. We have to bury our mind more in the body because we have it with us all the time. Look, you're carrying it around with you. Why not use it for that purpose? For gaining, being grounded and centered in the body. It's not rocket science. It's an inch beneath your nose. It's always there. You just have to remember it. That's what mindfulness is. It means to remember. Remember what you're doing now. Okay, I'm sitting, standing, walking, lifting my arm, turning my head, looking up, looking down, feeling clothing on my body, breath going in and out. Think about those things rather than all these other thoughts. But the problem is it takes training. It doesn't come automatically. And it also, all the other things I'm going to talk about next week in the Eightfold Path, following precepts, all these things, everything the Buddha taught is interconnected. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, all the steps of the Eightfold Path. Unless you develop those two, most people are not going to get much success in meditation. Because all those things are intimately connected. Okay? Any other questions out there?
Akshar has a question in the chat.
Nature, so. This question, isn't the mind not just limited to the body? The Buddha and some of the disciples were able to perceive things beyond the reach of bodily organisms. Yes, the body's not, but that the 1% that can see beyond the body, don't worry about that, This is for the 99.9% of people that are totally submerged and chained by the body. Sure, you can go beyond the body by developing states of immaterial consciousness like infinite space, infinite awareness, but still you're going to have to come back in the body to operate in this world, to function normally. So that's where we live, and that's where we practice Dhamma, is in this world, where we're carrying this body around with us. So that's what's important, not these other things about, the ultimate nature of the mind and psychic powers and so on, although that could be useful, but the Buddha said that's not important for reaching the end of suffering. Okay. Okay, friends, any other questions? Anybody here in the room? Okay, if there's no any other questions, then let's take a few minutes break and then get into the body. Yeah.
One more thing. Next week we're going to go over part 2 of this. Bhante?
What?
Next week we'll do part 2.
Yeah, it's in the same attachment, so you can go
Okay.
ahead and read the rest of that attachment I sent out. And
Okay,
I'll probably remind you next Monday, hopefully, when I do my next mailing.
great.
Okay? Okay, let's take a few minutes break and then come back and do some deep breathing and exercises to hopefully get into the body. See you back in a few minutes. Okay, friends, so let's try to stand straight. Keep your feet parallel to each other, a few inches apart. Just kind of, first of all, just gently close your eyes. Focus your attention on your feet pressing the floor. Just feel the weight of the body pressing the feet on the ground. And slowly let your awareness rise up through the body, feeling your legs, your straight legs, and feel your hands and fingers. Try to feel the subtle pulse of blood, sensations in your hands and fingers. Feel the clothing touching the skin of your arms. Take a couple of deep breaths. Feel the expansion and contraction of your stomach and chest. Feel the clothing rubbing against the skin of your stomach and chest. Just bring the attention to the body. Now feel your head balanced on top of the neck. Keep your chin lifted up, level with the floor. And feel your eyes in the sockets. Feel your eyelids stretched over the eyeballs. Feel those sensations of the eyes. Now from that point down the eyes, try to feel the outline of the standing body, sense of the head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Just mentally tell yourself standing, standing. Try to hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye. If you can't feel the outline, at least just feel your feet pressing the floor. Remember standing, standing. Letting go of your thoughts. Now begin some deep, slow breathing. Try to take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Drawing the air into the upper chest. Hold the air in for 2 seconds. And slowly breathe out. Try to feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Take a few more deep breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out. Standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to combine this breathing with these exercise movements. We do the movement while breathing in, holding that position for 2 seconds, and returning to the starting point, the opposite direction on the out breath, and repeating each exercise 3 times. If you get tired after just doing it twice, you can stop with after 2 repetitions. The whole time, keep letting go of your thoughts, keeping the mind and the body. So you can open your eyes and observe me as I lead you through this. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms upward, straighten your arms, stretch your head back to look at the back of your hand and stretch upwards. And then release your fingers, the out breath, lower the arms back to the sides, feel the air go out. And again, in breath, interlock the fingers over the head, stretch up, bend back a little bit, feel the arch of the spine, feel the sensation. Out breath. Feel the air go out as the arms come down. Third time, in breath. Stretch up, bend back a little more. Feel the sensation. Out breath. And the last bit of air go out as the arms come down. And relax. Keep focused on the body. Don't let the mind get carried away in thought. Keep remembering standing, standing, standing. Just keep repeating that word to yourself so you don't get carried away in thoughts. Or feel the sensations in the body. Feet pressing the floor, the hands and fingers. Clothing touching the skin. Those are all present moment sensations. Okay, in the next in-breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head in this way. Face the hands toward each other about 5 inches apart and stretch up. Out breath, come back down. The arms, feel the air go out as the arms come down. Again, in breath, use the in breath to help lift up the body like blowing up a balloon. Out breath, feel the air go out. Once more, in, stretch. Out. Feel the air go out. Just close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Don't let the mind wander. Just remember standing, standing, standing. If you can hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye, so much the better. Try to feel more and more sensations. The more sensations you can notice, the less time your mind has to think about other things. Standing, standing, standing. Okay, next we'll do side bending using both arms. On the next in breath, raise both arms up. Keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out breath, bend over your right side as far as you comfortably can. On the in breath, lift up. And on the next out breath, bend to the right, the left side, other side. In breath, lift up. Again to the right, out breath. Feel the stretch in the side, the sensation. Feel the clothing touching the skin. In breath, up. Out breath, left. In. Once more to each side. On the out breath, lower both arms. Close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Standing, standing. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keep the standing, breathing body in the front of the awareness, like you're looking into a full-length mirror, observing the collage of sensation from your head, arms, legs, feet, clothing. All those sensations form the silhouette of the standing body. The mind identifies as a standing body. You identify as my body. Okay, next we're going to do knee bending or squatting. On the next in-breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees and lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Come down as far as you comfortably can. Take a deep breath, feel the muscles in the legs pushing the body up. All the way up on the toes. In out breath. Feel the sensations, so many sensations. In. Out. In. The out breath, relax. Keep feeling the body. Feel the increased heartbeat. All those pulsations. This present moment, body-centered awareness. The natural awareness. Standing, standing, standing. Okay, now spread your feet apart about 3 feet. Wider the better. We're holding the arms out to the sides. We're going to do twisting from right to left to loosen up the spinal vertebrae and the lateral movements. So breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Let your feet turn with the body. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. In the in-breath, come back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body, twist to the left. Out-breath. In-breath, the right, front. Again to the right, out-breath. In. Out. In. Once more to each side. In breath, come back to the front. Lower the arms. Keep feeling the body. Feel the increased sensations in your shoulders. Feel the arms and hands hanging from the shoulders, clothing touching the skin. Don't give the mind time to get lost in thoughts. Just feel the increased life force vibrations, clothing touching the outer skin, subtler sensations under the skin, heartbeat, breathing, pulsations, maybe some aches or pains, prickly sensations. So many different kinds of sensations can be noticed. It's pure nature sensations, cellular vibration. You want to think about something, think about that. This body is just billions of cells vibrating, interacting, producing all these sensations. Okay, now place the hands together at the chest. On the in-breath, raise the hands over the head. On the out-breath, lower the hands to the chest and bend your knees and lower down. Try to keep your back upright. Feel the stretch in your knees and hips. On the in-breath, lift up. Feel the strength in your leg muscles. Then out-breath, try to come down a little more. Keep the back upright. In. Out. In. And the out breath. Close the eyes. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Now again, hold the arms out to the side. We're going to do alternate toe touching. Keep your legs spread apart. Wider the better. And breathe in. On the out breath, bring your left arm across and down to touch your right leg below the knee or as far down as you can reach, the hand down to towards the foot, and then look up at your other arm over your head. Try to look at the palm of your hand over your head. And then come up on the in-breath. Come back up, your arm out to the side. And the next out-breath, twist to the other side. Look up at the hand over the head. Come up on the in-breath. Just keep alternating sides like that. Try to stretch a little bit farther each time. In-breath, come up. Other side. In. Once more to each side. Third time, try to hold it a little longer. Other side. Relax. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Feel all those sensations. Clothing touching the outer skin. Cellular vibrations under the skin. Aches or pains. Prickly or itchy sensations. This living, breathing body, here and now. Now we're going to do forward and backward bending. And spread the legs apart. Be careful with the back bends. Let your hands touch the front of your legs. Breathe in. On the out breath, bend forward. Keep the head lifted up, looking out straight ahead. Let your hands come down to your knees. Try to flatten the spine. Keep the legs straight, the arms straight. Lift up on the in-breath. Lift up. Move the hands under the buttocks for support. And let the head go back. Bend back on the out-breath. Keep your eyes open. Feel the arch in the spine. In-breath, carefully lift up. You're really shaking. Then out breath again, forward. Let your hands come below your knees. Feel the extra stretch in the leg muscles. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. In breath, lift up. Again, the back bends. Be careful. Out breath. In breath, lift up. And the third time, let the hands come down as far as you can towards your ankles or feet, and then hold on there longer. Feel that stretch in the back of the leg muscles. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Feel the blood coming into the head. And then carefully begin lifting up. Breathe in. And once more, the back bend. Just be careful. In breath. On the out breath, just relax your shoulders, arms. Close the eyes, feel each foot pressing the floor. Try to feel the outline of the body in the mind's eye. Feel all that activated life force. Atomic, molecular, cellular vibration. That's real life. Okay, now bring your legs back together. Okay, now we're going to do one last exercise, everybody's favorite, the lion's roar face stretch. You have to bend your knees a little bit, brace your hands above the knees. And on an in-breath, you're going to take a deep breath. On the out-breath, you're going to open your mouth and stick out your tongue as far as you can, like you're going to the doctor's office, and cross your eyes until you're seeing double. And hold that, squinch up the face muscles several times. The idea is to draw a lot of blood into the head and brain by doing that. So breathe in. Make a sound in the throat as you're breathing and letting out the breath. Relax. Now the second time you can try, after you've done the face stretch, suck your stomach up underneath your rib cage and hold that while you're holding the face stretch. And breathe in. Relax. If you have enough energy left, you can try the washing machine effect. After sucking the stomach up, you push it back down and suck it up again, and push it back down, suck it up again, and do that as many times as you can. Give them the stomach and intestines a good massage. You breathe in. Okay, relax, carefully lift back up. Feel the whole body, head, as though it's been washed and bathed with healing life force. Just try to imagine and feel that life force permeating, saturating, suffusing all the cells and tissues of the body, mind, nervous system, with life force awareness, just allowing the mind to rest in the present moment, feeling all those life force vibrations. Just try to feel as though you're standing on a vibrating machine, feeling all those vibrations from the soles of your feet up to the top of the head. It's the same feeling that the baby has in the womb just before coming out. Before it enters the external outer world. Its mind was totally fused with the body. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Okay. Now, Try to hold that feeling as long as you can, with body sensations, as you mindfully come back to your sitting place, get ready for the sitting awareness. Just getting comfortable in the sitting position, posture. Just try to sit straight. Feel the natural inward curve of the lower spine. Try to feel or imagine the spinal column going up from the base of your spine up to the back to join at the base of your skull. You keep your chin lifted up level with the floor. Just feel the head balanced on top of the spinal column, like balancing a soccer ball on top of a stick. And feel your eyes in the sockets. Feel the eyelids stretched over your eyeballs. Feel the subtle eye movement. From that point on the eyes, try to feel the outline of the sitting body, sense of the head on top, the arms at the side, clothing touching the skin, the buttocks and feet pressing the floor. Just try to hold that outline of the body and the mind's eye, the eye of awareness. And then begin some deep, slow breathing like we did in the yoga session. Taking 2 or 3 seconds to expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Feel the air coming into the upper chest. Hold it in for 2 seconds. And slowly breathe out. Feel the last bit of air go out. And then the next in-breath. Take several more deep, slow breaths like that. developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Feel the last bit of air go out. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count our breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath in a second. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. And the next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10, out 10. Now as the breath goes out, don't deliberately breathing in again, just let the breath relax for a few moments. Just let the breath come back in by itself. Don't control the breathing anymore. Keep your attention focused in the middle of the body. Feel the subtler sensations of expanding and contracting. Try to tune into the 4 phases of each breath cycle. The expanding in breath and the brief pause. The contracting out breath and the brief pause. Especially try to feel where the clothing rubs against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, your chest, as it expands and contracts, producing those sensations. Just make that the primary focus of your present moment concentration. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it, feeling those sensations. And to help stay focused, you can use these mental reminders of in, sitting, out, out, sitting. It's the ongoing, continuous connection to the present moment, the sitting, breathing body. In, sitting, out, out, sitting. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Just keep the sitting, breathing body in the front of the awareness. Like you were looking into a mirror, just watching the body sitting and breathing. If you still have lots of thoughts, you can combine this breathing with counting on your own. You can try counting your breaths from 1 to 10 by yourself. See if you can make it to 10 without the mind getting carried away in thought or going to sleep. If anytime you lose your counting, start the counting again at 1. So it's a challenge not to forget the counting, get carried away in thought. You catch your mind lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring the mind back into the body. Back to your counting. Back to just in, sitting. Out, sitting. You could make it to 10 breaths without getting lost and just continue counting. Just keep remembering, just in, sitting. Out, sitting. Just feeling the process of breathing within the larger sitting body. Just gradually opening up to feel the other sensations coming and going in and around through that breathing awareness. Clothing touching the skin, itchy, prickly sensations, needle aches or pains. Staying centered, grounded in the middle of the breathing body. Feeling more and more subtle sensations. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. The more sensations you can notice, the less chance for your mind to get carried away in thought. Just open up to those organic life force vibrations. Breathing is always there in the center. You might feel the heart beating, the blood pulsing, clothing touching the skin in the background, itchy, prickly sensation, aches or pains. Those are all just coming and going through that breathing awareness. Just try to open up to that. You can do some more deep, slow breathing to help stay more awake, centered in the body. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. If you want to think about something, just think about this body just being billions and billions of cells, molecules, atoms, tightly pressed together, interacting, keeping this body alive. being alert for thoughts trying to sneak in to steal your attention away. Every time you get caught up in thinking, just recognize it as thinking, thinking. Gently let go of the thoughts. Take a deep breath. Bring the mind back into the body. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations coming and going. Sounds coming and going. Pleasure, pain come and go. Thoughts, ideas, opinions come and go. Worry or fear comes and goes. Thoughts of I, me, or mine come and go. These are all just a continuous flow and change of the five aggregates of this body-mind awareness. Their nature of constant change. It's floating through that mental space of present moment awareness. If you have a good awareness of coming and going, detachment, start to feel as though this body and mind were an empty house with nobody home to answer the call, knocking on the doors and windows. But there's a sensitive microphone in the house, awareness that knows it cannot react. And just our thoughts are just like bubbles floating through that expanded awareness. Even the thought of ourself, our ego, thought of I is just like a frozen ice cube floating in water. With these out breaths, allow that ice cube to melt more and more until it becomes the water of awareness, the ocean of awareness. What thoughts arise based on that sound vibration? Try not to let the mind rush to the future. Stay centered in the body. Sabbi sankhara anicchati yada panyaya pasati atanibindati dukhe esamaggo visuddhiya. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to briefly last, then vanish. When one sees this with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with self-created suffering. This is the path to freedom. And thus spoke the Buddha. I invite you to join to finish the meditation in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do that chanting of sadhu on a long out breath. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Breathe. Now mindfully place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath as you breathe in. Stretch your head back. Pull the hands against your knees to arch your spine. Look up at the ceiling. Feel the sensation. And lift the head up, and on the out breath, press your chin to the notch at the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebra. Lift the chin up level with the floor on the in-breath. And relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends. So I hope that you're able to have some periods of some good awareness, some insights, and try to keep up your practice going during the week. As I mentioned before, next week we'll go over the part 2 of that talk that I started tonight, focusing on how to help develop awareness, mindfulness in the daily life, the Eightfold Path. Okay? So until then, be well, be safe, be mindful, be wise, and Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Gratitude and appreciation, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Don't forget, mindfulness a day keeps dukkha away.
Thank you.
Namo
Thank you,
Buddhaya.
Bhante.